Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on the Three Man Blitz. I'd just like to take a moment to remind you to follow us on Twitter at 3manblitz. Visit us at www.3manblitz.com. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, and don't forget to view us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody, and welcome into the Three Man Blitz. Today we're going to be taking care of our bust and our sleeper quarterbacks. We're going to go through position by position and tell you each a guy that we like and that we really don't like. And we're defining the definition of bust as maybe finishing lower than the ADP is projecting him. Like a lot of guys are taking this quarterback at like number 3, and we're telling you, oh, no, wait, hold up, he's not even going to finish in the top 10. You know, that's the kind of deal we're looking at here. That they're not going to be worth where you pick them up. And the same goes for sleepers, except it's exactly the opposite. You're going to be able to take them really late, and they're definitely going to help out your fantasy team, and they finish a lot higher than they're being drafted. So without any further ado, I'm Andrew, Jeremy, Queasy here, and let's go ahead and take our shot, guys.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Let me just pull out my whiskey.
You guys hear that pop? Did you hear the pop?
We'll hear some Clint Eastwood music in a second.
It's party time.
Mine don't have a pop. I'm trashy.
Do this in every video now, but.
Go for 3.
Go for 3, boys.
Go for 3, fellas.
Bottoms up.
Ooh-wee. Andrew sipping on a little something else.
A little something else.
Need a little chaser.
You got to supplement. All right, so one of you guys want to go first, or do you want me to jump in with it?
I'll go first. You know what? I'll go first. Andrew jumping in, as usual.
I hate you.
All right, so we're going to do busts first, right?
Hate you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so the guy that I'm choosing for my bust candidate, and man, again, this is a player that's going to be drafted really high, and I think that he'll be finishing lower. So it's none other than Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay. Okay? So, obviously, I know. Everybody knows Aaron Rodgers is a fantastic quarterback. And last year, I think he finished around 10, 11. Okay? Which is about where his ADP is, 10 or 11. And he had a good season last year. He finished with just over 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I'll take that any day, right?
Yeah.
So here's some of the negative things. So 2020 is not going to be 2019. Duh. He's getting up there in age. He's 36. He's been in the league for 16 years, which obviously you can still be a fantastic quarterback in those. But they, again, in the draft, gave him the shaft. And I'm not trying to rhyme. Not this time.
They gave him some love.
Yeah, they gave him a little love. Jordan love. But they drafted his heir apparent. They got him no weapons, neither in the free agency, really, and definitely not in the draft.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there frustrated. I'm not real sure if he's going to be with Green Bay much longer. We'll see. I'm not real sure if he's wanting to do that or not. But I can tell you, aside from Devontae Adams as the receiver, the next two up, you got Alan Lazard and you got Devin Funchess. I'm not, not big on these guys. So the receivers, it's not good. The running back, of course, I love. What's his name again? Aaron Jones.
Say his name.
Say it, Andrew. Say his name.
That's my bust running back, y'all.
Yeah, you wished he busted. Anyway, so they just didn't help him out. He was already frustrated last year, and I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to keep it up. So I've got Aaron Rodgers. I still think he'll have a decent season. He's still a fantastic MVP-style quarterback. But we're talking about fantasy here, and I don't think he's going to give it to you every week like you would want it, consistent style. So I think you'll see Green Bay kind of trend down. And I don't think he'll match his ADP status. And I think he'll finish somewhere around 14, 15, which isn't a huge drop, but it could be a lot worse.
We've got him as our consensus number 7 overall. So Are you saying potentially, or this is what you think is going to happen?
So it's a potential. So these are all potential bust candidates that in my mind, that's how I did it. So I'm not calling my shot saying Aaron Rodgers is going to fall apart and they're going to bring in Jordan Love or none of that crap. Just be wary when you take him. Don't reach. That's the biggest thing. Don't reach for Aaron Rodgers. Don't take him super high because he does have a couple of red flags.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that could go his way. Of course, he could be ready to avenge having his backup quarterback brought in. So trying to show what he has still in the tank. That's a great pick for you. I mean, as far as the potential bust, what I'm saying? So you would never expect that, especially with Aaron Rodgers who have a long history of doing very well.
That's true.
Even with no weapons.
Yeah. That's true.
I do like Devontae Adams a lot, but, you're right.
I mean, I think at some point you're playing the odds, right? Like, he did it last year. He threw for 4,000 yards. He barely threw any interceptions, a ton of touchdowns. But without that huge talent around you, how often can you get that done? We'll see. I'm not a big fan of his mechanics either. That's a different discussion. He throws off his back foot and all that.
Back foot.
He does. He throws off his back foot.
Well, moving on, I'm going to break up Jeremy and Queasy here with a less attractive bust pick. They gave me a hard time about this one, but listen, this guy should not be being drafted this high. So I feel that it's my obligation and my duty to tell you that you were making a mistake when you were looking at drafting Ryan Tannehill as the number 16 overall quarterback. Now, this is really mostly applying to like 2 quarterback leagues and super flex leagues and stuff like that. But I mean, like Jeremy just said, if you're taking Aaron Rodgers at 10 and 11, just a couple of spots behind that, you're taking Ryan Tannehill, you're doing it wrong. Now, he has one of the hardest schedules for a quarterback this coming season. It's the 28th hardest out of 32 teams. And let's be honest, Ryan Tannehill is nothing more than just the best backup in the game and pretty much like a game manager. Derrick Henry, who just got a huge contract, ran that whole offense. So, I mean, I have no confidence in this. I think it's, Tennessee's offense, they're not high flying. They don't, they weren't perpetually playing from behind and this and that. He threw when he had to. I would put him in the same category as Jimmy Garoppolo, except less talented. So just, I mean, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. Just don't take Ryan Tannehill that high. It's ridiculous, guys. It's absolutely absurd.
Gotcha. Great pick, I guess.
I just did a public service, okay? I wasted calling my shot on this public service announcement.
No, you're good though, because I honestly didn't know he was that close, like in the middle of the pack, basically for Tannehill. And I don't have a lot of faith in the Tennessee team, and hopefully Henry will be worth his money next year. So, but it won't be Tannehill's fault while they do good next year if they do good.
He does. It is just man.
Yeah, and it is weird that he's the definition of a game manager, and to take him that high when you need somebody that's making big plays for your fantasy team and stuff. That's just insane to think that he's going above some of these other guys.
Exactly.
Like
Speaking of going above and going high, Queasy, who is your bust, buddy?
Patrick Mahomes. No, I'm joking.
He couldn't even say the whole name.
I too got one up pretty high. I have Lamar Jackson, and the reason why I'm saying Lamar Jackson, and again, I hope this guy does very well. I root for him. I root for the team. I hope they do well. But the reason why I'm saying he's a bust, they're showing a history of falling apart, and I'm saying that because 2 years ago, of course, he dominated the league whenever he got a chance to play after Flacco got hurt. Did halfway decent, got into the playoffs, and got completely shut down by the San Diego Chargers. Completely shut down to like the middle of the fourth quarter. Then he started actually getting it together and rolling, and people try to have faith in him. And then the next year starts, and he does pretty well. Of course, which was last year. Does decently throughout the whole season, killing it. They're running the ball. Actually, changed the whole scheme. Harbaugh changed the whole scheme of the plays for him, so he could have a play option and run the ball more. But his accuracy never panned out. His passing was never on point consistently. So again, they go through the whole season, dominate pretty well. Maybe because it's a new thing. Maybe it was a Jeremy Lin kind of thing situation where somebody brand new that you don't know and you're trying to work them out throughout the season, but during that time they're actually winning. Because once the playoffs hit, once again, he played against the Titans, which they were supposed to be a 10-point favorite, and got completely shut down. And the main reason they got shut down was because they put Lamar Jackson on a hold. He couldn't do any kind of running. So again, when these teams get used to how you are, they can completely shut you down. Now, I'm not a big Jordan fan. Jordan is who Jordan is, and I'm bringing him up because when he first got into the league, this man was just high flying. That was it, and he did his little thing then, but it was never enough to get over the hump. But every year that man came back, and again, I'm a Pistons fan, so I have my thing against him. But every year this man came back, he added something to his arsenal, and that made him the GOAT that he is now. And so what I'm getting at is I need Lamar Jackson to do that. I need him to realize, because some guys just think my talent is good enough. Since I can run, that's good enough to make it wherever I need it. And you shouldn't. You should have. It's like when I'm throwing in all these sports. When I first started watching the UFC, there was a lot of guys who just started out I'm a great boxer, so I'm going to dominate this guy over here who we taught. And they started realizing, of course, 3 years later on, that you needed a little bit of everything in order to dominate that sport. And so what I'm getting at is Lamar Jackson needs to add a little bit of everything to dominate that sport. So if he comes back this year, what, man?
Queasy says, it's just like in the 2017 ping pong playoff.
I'm trying to help Lamar out, man. I'm trying to help him out, man.
Listen. Lamar did add something in his arsenal. He worked with Tom Brady's quarterback coach in the 2019 offseason between 2019 and 2020.
Yes.
And his accuracy did get better. Yes. And I expect him to come back definitely with a chip on his shoulder this season and something to prove, just because, they were the huge favorites and they went out in such a flaming fashion, just fell out of the sky like they were shot down like a plane. And you're just like, wow, the Ravens got beat by the Titans. They were going to the Super Bowl. What happened?
Yes.
Well, they locked their home playoff spot like 3 weeks before the playoffs actually started. Exactly. They rested like all of their starters practically to keep people from getting hurt, man. I think they just lost that fire. They lost that edge they had. They were all, just kind of chilling out, taking it easy, trying to avoid injury. And I think that really hurt them in the long run, which should have been the smart move, really, you'd think, but it didn't work out that way. Now, I think Lamar Jackson will come back with that edge, with that fire this year, with that passion, something else to prove, because people are doubting him once again. And I think we're going to be surprised. So I have to disagree with you here, and I don't think it's going to bust. But
hindsight, people are always going to say that whether you rest the players or you don't rest the players, whatever happens in that situation that happens next, you're going to say one or the other. Well, man, they should have rested them because they got whooped, or they rested and then they got whooped, and that's why they, even though they played all season long, now because of that one game. That's why they lost. It was
more than one game. It was they were resting for a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I think the true thing is that you got to give the Titans defense credit.
Hey, they all who we thought they were.
They really stifled him, and you were right. They put him and kept him in the pocket and made him beat, them with his arm, and he couldn't do it. And he was definitely rattled. And you could tell that he was rattled, and it wasn't a good look for him. He was put in a position that he hadn't been put in all year, where he couldn't make things happen. And maybe the first guy wasn't open. His running lane closed down. He was getting pressured. I mean, you could see him throwing the ball down and stuff. So, and the bad thing is, on top of that, is that tape's out there. So every team sees now how he got stopped. So I can definitely see why he's a bust candidate. He'll still, even if he had a down year, I'd still say he finishes top 10 pretty easy. Because he's not going to face great defenses all year.
But people are drafting him 1 and 2, so
really
that would definitely be considered a bust.
A lot of people are going to take him 1 overall, and if they're not 1 overall, but maybe the first quarterback overall, and if it's not him, he's taking second, like you said. So I think it's a good pick. I think it's a good pick for a potential. Let's remember, this is potential. This isn't us calling our shot.
And
that he's gonna fail.
I know, I'm absolutely calling my shot.
And I hope he does well.
Don't draft Ryan Tannehill. Well, let's move on to our sleeper picks, Jeremy. Who do you have for your quarterback, bud?
All right, so for my sleeper pick, I have Drew Lock. So, so I know that Queasy really hates this Denver offense, but I think we couldn't be complete opposites on this enough. They have so much talent around him, and he had I don't think he even played a full season last year, but he only had 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He threw for over 1,000 yards. But you look at the talent he has around him, and even if they're a bad team and they're playing from behind, that just means more passing volume from him. I like to see him take that next step and kind of get more of those numbers where his touchdowns triple. That'd put him at 21 touchdowns. Or somewhere a little higher. So he
only played 5 games, I believe it was.
Yeah, and I mean that's not bad for 5 games. But if you were to multiply it all, those interceptions were But he's being taken somewhere around the 22nd quarterback. So there's 21 quarterbacks that much better than him. So you're telling me you would take on an average draft position Tannehill before you take Drew Lock? I don't think so.
Apparently, that's what they're telling
Sutton. Exactly. Not with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, and you got Philip Lindsay who catches out of the backfield, and you got Melvin Gordon. I don't think so.
All right. Queasy,
all day for him.
Yeah.
I know how you feel about the Denver offense. Yes. Would you rather take Ryan Tannehill or Drew Lock?
Yeah, Queasy, who would you take?
I probably will go with Drew Lock, only because John Elway's in the corner praying right now. Okay. To keep his job. So,
man.
But yeah, I can see that definitely, man. I can see that definitely.
I like Drew Lock, and I think we had him near our top 10, did we not? I think I had him sitting at number 11, I believe.
I think our consensus, we had him around 15. I look real quick.
Especially if those weapons pan out. Again, with Jeudy, he was also in college. Of course, the pandemic may slow down their chemistry. So, if all those things pan out, though, work out well, Sutton could, of course, take a step forward. Cortland
Sutton's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is. And then you got
Fant. Isn't Fant their tight end?
Yeah, Noah Fant.
Fant. Yeah, I didn't even mention him. So we had him as the number 16 consensus.
Yeah.
So
and then you've got, of course, Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay there helping him out too. Both of those guys can catch. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna take the reins for a minute and tell you about Mr. Teddy Bridgewater of the Carolina Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater is 27 years old, and he has the second easiest schedule for a quarterback as far as we can only project defenses so much and project offenses so much, but the way it's projected right now, he has the second easiest quarterback schedule. His ADP is 27, not even in the top 25, 27. So let me tell you why you should be excited about Teddy Bridgewater. He did a pretty good job for New Orleans last year. They didn't really super open up the playbook for him, and they kind of used him as a game manager. But when Matt Rule got to Carolina, he said, I want this guy. He shipped out Cam Newton, former MVP, so that he could bring in Teddy Bridgewater and be his starting quarterback. The guy who was the starting quarterback last year, Kyle Allen, they shipped him off. He's gone. He went to the Redskins, I believe. Now, not only did they do that, but Matt Rule also managed to reel in LSU's passing game coordinator. What's his name? Joe Brady. Yeah, I love Joe Brady now. So let me just kind of lay this out for you, those of you who don't really watch college football. You had LSU's basically the entire same offense from 2018 transition into 2019, with the only real difference being the addition of Joe Brady. And you went from mediocre SEC run-heavy big quarterback offense to the number 1 scoring offense of all time in college football history.
By far, yeah.
Just because this passing game coordinator came in. So, you bring him in, and you've got him a couple of weapons there in Carolina that he can throw to, and I think you have a deep sleeper. I say Teddy Bridgewater has the potential to finish in the top 10 very easily.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot better than your bust pick.
Yeah.
Calling my shot.
But
This one didn't have to be a service announcement, but it is.
Bridgewater will have 2 losses though.
To Atlanta.
To my Falcons.
Baby. Yeah. I will say Bridgewater didn't do okay when he came in for Drew Brees. He did awesome.
Yeah, he did.
I don't have the stats, but yeah, it was something stupid like 15 touchdowns to 1 interception or something. It was like, hey, do that.
Yeah. And they got weapons. Watching and like you know how we talk about the eye test a lot. I remember watching and not being like super impressed. But I mean, like when you're comparing him to the guy who normally runs the offense, there's like it's Drew Brees. Come on, you can't. A little different. That's like when we were talking about with Alabama. When you lose Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones steps in, he may be good, but you're just like, eh.
Yeah, he's not too.
Yeah. I definitely was expecting. I was expecting, of course, Lee dropping down from Brees. I was expecting the Saints to lose a game or at least, but I don't think he lost a game.
I think he
did either.
If it did, it was 1.
Yeah.
Funny how your memory goes. He did great.
Now, I mean, I'm not saying that this Carolina team is going to be excellent. I'm still expecting them to lose a whole lot of games, but that also gives him potential to be, playing from behind. I mean, as terrible as it is, us fantasy guys, we love garbage time.
It's great. It'll win you some games. And they're going to be behind a lot. And he does have Christian McCaffrey, and he's got some okay receivers. So, I mean, like you said, garbage time is amazing. He's going to get he might get 15, 20 more throws during garbage time, fourth quarters.
All right, Queasy, let's hear it.
My sleeper is Jameis Winston. Okay. He definitely will throw less interceptions this year.
Get that out of here.
You're not wrong about
that. He was a lot of people's. Hey, they didn't care he was throwing the interceptions because he was throwing so many touchdowns, and they were huge plays. It's like, screw it, man. Go for it. Throw it again.
No, on a serious note, even though Jameis Winston will throw less touchdowns because he will play less, but my sleeper is Cam Newton, actually. Cam Newton with the Carolina Panthers. Not with the Carolina Panthers, excuse me. With the Patriots.
New England.
Hard not to say Cam Newton. Of the Carolina Panthers.
And it
doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right.
With the New England Patriots. He's not on our list when we did our quarterback show. So it's hard to predict.
Yeah.
Yes, it's kind of hard to predict where he might be in that list. I think out of the top 10, maybe around where Tannehill's at in the 15 or 16 area. People might be picking him up there. But I think he definitely has the potential to do something this year. People always wonder whether it was the coach or Brady, Belichick or Brady, that moved that team, that gave them that winning urgency. I think it was a combination of both of them, if I may be honest. But with Cam Newton, you have a super talent. You have a guy who's super hungry. He's been disrespected to me for 3 months at least. When the Panthers cut him, and when no team wanted to pick him up for whatever reason. He played injured with his shoulder and his foot for the Panthers, and fought hard for them. So those two seasons look very bad on his resume. I will say that. But I think he's going to come back this year very healthy, very hungry, and very determined to prove everybody wrong. And I think Belichick will be leading him the right way. And again, I'm not a Patriots fan at all, but I do think that team, and he will scheme it around him, whether giving him short passes. I don't think he's going to run a lot. Giving him short passes, kind of like what Brady did. Honestly, Brady never threw deep much, but he would kill it in the midfield.
Jeremy, I hear your dog so hard.
Stop. Go on. Go.
Get.
Get the dogs, man. Get them out of here.
Get on her.
Get out of here, dogs. They're playing tug of war with a rope right now. They're about to go back at it again. Once they get going, man, they ain't no.
Back on the tracks here.
I'm gonna jump in on Cam, man. So I'm like one of the most notorious Cam haters.
Hold on, real quick, before you start. Hold your thought.
All right. I'm holding.
His ADP is 23rd, 23 overall.
This is why I'm saying all this, because it's the preface saying that I 100% agree with Queasy. Now you, what?
What?
Okay.
So Cam hater, what happened?
So my whole thing with Cam, and it's like I've been labeled a Cam hater by some people, but it's not that I hate. It's not that I hate Cam. It's that I always felt like he was overvalued, and in a football sense. In fantasy, he was always pretty good, but in a non-fantasy way, I never really saw the hard. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is I agree. People aren't going to take him too high. Hopefully, you don't reach for him and expect him to be a number 1, top 10. But he has the potential to be. That's why he's a great sleeper quarterback. And, we'll definitely see this year, are the Patriots on the decline or not? Well, Cam he's supposedly healthy. And he can definitely hit those short intermediate routes. And I think he still has the arm talent where he can go long. Yeah. So he might be an even better fit in that system than Tom Brady was. So we'll see. And I think it's a great pick for a sleeper. I really do.
Well, to play devil's advocate here, let it be noted that I also agree. I do like Cam, but to play devil's advocate, like I said a minute ago, new head coach came in and shipped out this former MVP who was supposedly healthy to bring in Drew Brees' backup, Teddy Bridgewater, into his system because Teddy Bridgewater is a better fit than Cam Newton. No, maybe he's not fully healthy. Maybe there's something more going on, maybe in the locker room that we didn't know about. But it gives you cause to be skeptical and to think twice about it. But, maybe that might play to your advantage because maybe he will drop because people will be thinking like that. So
exactly.
We'll see.
He has the red
flag.
But
he's technically not been named the starter yet. So, I mean, there's risk, but with risk comes reward.
This man was go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll throw this out there. If Jarrett Stidham wins the quarterback battle over Cam, you can pretty much count him done, probably.
Done.
If Jarrett Stidham wins a quarterback battle over him, yeah.
Yeah, D-U-N, done.
Yeah, done. Done. Because the only way I see that happens if he's still hurt. And if he's still hurt after this amount of time, then, it's major.
Yeah, exactly. But this man was a MVP of the.
Sure.
And this man did take his team to 15-1, if I'm correct, to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. So he has all this talent there, and when he was in college with Auburn, he used to dominate Georgia the whole time.
Yeah. All right, we're done. We're done.
D-U-N, done.
All right, guys. As always, thanks for tuning in to our Sleepers and Busts. Next week, we're going to be covering running backs. But unfortunately, our good friend Queasy will be gone. He's going to be out of town.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sad. He's going to be on vacation.
On the beach, sipping a little fruity drink with an umbrella.
Yeah, a little Mai Tais with his feet in the sand.
I
think we're going to be bringing on one of our favorite guests, old Ben Hester, Trashed Ben. I think he's agreed to come on and have a few with us and talk about running backs. So, but Queasy, we wish you safe travels and we hope you have a good week. It's well deserved. You work hard, bud, and you do a lot for us here as well.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna miss you guys.
Oh!
You touched my heart.
I will, man.
Enjoy.
All right, guys.
Drink a lot for me.
As always, safe travels, Queasy. Yep. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Go for 3.
Go for 3, baby.
Go for 3.
Go for 3.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Queasy at RastaLion1131, Jeremy at Checkerboard J, and me at Jedi Quarterback.